Many courses in the lynda.com online training library have exercise files that go along with them. This is not one of those courses. There isn't a way for us to import and export workflows out of SharePoint Designer unless you're using Visual Studio. So we'll be creating full workflows and parts of workflows together. There are 4 major workflows that we're using in this course and then 5 minor ones, and I'd just like to give you a brief overview of them. First, there's a workflow called employee onboarding. The employee onboarding workflow is a series of tasks that are done by different departments for each new employee in an organization. The second major workflow is called ordered business cards, and ordered business cards flows out of the employee onboarding. The initial business card order for an employee is placed by the facilities department, but subsequent business card orders are a real hassle for them to deal with. People call and say, I want new business cards, but, or and. So the facilities department has put together a request to make this an employee self-service workflow. Our third major workflow is called Request New Position, and I want to highlight this because it's an approval workflow, and many of the workflows that take place in business are nothing but approval steps. For example, you're going on vacation. Who needs to approve that? Perhaps your supervisor and your supervisor's supervisor. Or you need to purchase new software for your computer. Who can approve? You want to take some training. You need to turn in your expenses for reimbursement. All of these kind of workflows are approvals. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, often with some conditions. So this is a workflow that we'll return to over and over again so that we can really understand how we can do approvals. The fourth and final major workflow is a very simple workflow. All it does is emails a submitter to say, hey, we got your document. And we'll be creating that as a reusable workflow because we can use it in many different lists and libraries in our site. These are the major workflows. Now the minor workflows. First, a workflow that creates an item in one list based on values in the current list. In this case, when you create a new calendar appointment, you can have a workflow create an announcement for you. Second, a workflow that emails the submitter, similar to our reusable workflow, but then takes a look at the file type of the item that was submitted and takes some further action based on that file type. Third, a workflow that allows us to extract data out of a file name. So we're taking a substring, in this case an ending date, and putting that somewhere else. Fourth, a direct email that says, based on a value, we're going to trigger a workflow that sends an email to a group of people who are monitoring a group of libraries. And finally, a workflow that is manually triggered whenever someone goes in and says, we're done with this document, it's obsolete, and needs to be moved to the archives. These are the workflows that we'll be using together in this course. I encourage you to work along with me as we create these workflows. If we're in the middle of a workflow and we put it aside, simply save it. You don't need to publish it. Put it away. We'll come back to it later on. And I also want to encourage you to create some of your own workflows using your own business processes that would be similar, whether they're approval processes, email processes, announcements, whatever business process you have. Feel free to try it out as we learn about no-code SharePoint workflows together.